Durarara boasts an expansive and wild cast of characters ranging from a mischievous sociopath to a bartender with superhuman strength, a high school girl that's possessed by a demon sword, two sadistic otakus, Russian sushi, an eccentric gas mask wearing nutjob, a pervy doctor, teenage gang leaders, uncomfortable family issues, identity crisis, the Yakuza, vulgar tweens, chivalrous, biker gang, legal gambling, ringleaders, motorcycle cops, and demon secretary. It turns out that, ironically, the most out-of-place character, a Dullahan, is a Celtic mythological creature which in lore rides around the Irish countryside in a death coach, sucking up souls and splashing people with buckets of blood, all while carrying its head underneath its arm like a basketball, is actually the least imposing and most down-to-earth character in the whole show. She enjoys watching B-horror movies, playing video games, cooking, reading tabloids, giving advice, and chatting with friends online.
Hey everyone, Ryan here with a little different episode of Fig Ultra Reviews. Today I'm looking at Celty Sturluson, AKA the Headless Rider, from the anime Durarara. I practiced saying that. I never know how to pronounce this anime's name. Anyways, I know this is an older figure. It originally came out in 2012, but re-released in 2015. It's not the new hot item everyone's out looking for right now. It's not going to put this channel on the map or anything. But I ain't about that, son. I know I'm not going to be able to keep up on all the newest releases and stay up to date. I gave up on that a while ago. Not everything has to be new all the time. There's neat old stuff out there too. And I genuinely enjoy doing these reviews and sharing my hobbies with you. This figure's pretty special to me. More so the character herself. She's basically the character that fully got me into anime as a whole, and pretty much the whole Japanese culture surrounding it. Doing some deep diving, I kinda had a weird history with anime. Like I should have been into it way sooner in my life than I actually did. I remember seeing Sailor Moon on the old tube TV back in the day, but never actually really watched it at all. Then, I think later, I watched both Dragon Ball and Z when it aired on Toonami, like in the middle of the day. I think Dragon Ball Z was the only anime that I was most familiar with and watched most out of everything so far. I kind of remember catching Yu Yu Hakusho and Rurouni Kenshin on TV, but never really watched too much of those. I like the Pokemon games more than the anime though. I think I stopped watching around the time the first movie aired. I didn't keep up with the card game very long. I don't even think I played the actual game. I just collected the cards for a little bit until I realized how poor I was. That it wasn't fun anymore. Yu-Gi-Oh! I only watched, I think, the first episode of that. I only collected the cards. I never watched the anime after that. I thought Gundam figures were cool, but never seen anything from the show. Oddly, Hamtaro was my jam out of all things for a while. I also remember watching gory anime AMVs with my friend on YouTube. Now, I don't even think it was on YouTube. I think it was just like links you downloaded or clicked on. Yeah, I really don't know how anime never really clicked with me, especially during like the late 90s and like mid 2000s when I was most exposed to it. I totally dropped off like anything anime after that. Ironically, when Toonami was canceled. It wasn't until probably around 2012 or 13 when I fully got invested in anime and the Japanese culture. Strangely, that was when Toonami came back on air. Funny. I remember sitting in my living room. It was the middle of the night. I think I was messing around on my laptop. I had my headphones on with the TV playing in the background. I wasn't really paying attention to what was on. It was just kind of background noise. I think the Aqua Teen Hunger Force was on or something. But further into the night, something caught my attention. Toonami was now on and anime was starting to play. I would glance up every once in a while and now Durarara was on. And I remember it was the episode when the human traffickers kidnapped that old guy. It was the scene where the gang was about to fight the kidnappers when Celty showed up and scared them off. Something about her character and the art style of the show interested me. I had no idea what was going on because I had music going through my headphones. So before going to bed that night, I scoured Adult Swim's website, having no idea what the show was even called, scrolling through pages back and forth trying to match the thumbnails of what I remember seeing that night, and I finally found it. I gave the show a shot the next day, not really knowing what to expect, and just like Mikado, I was mesmerized the first time I seen the Headless Rider, and it was all pretty much downhill from there. So yeah, this review's kind of a homage and special to me because not only is Celty one of my favorite characters, but if it probably wasn't for her, I might not even have ended up in this crazy culture at all. Okay, I probably would have gotten here sooner or later. I was heading in the direction anyways. It just took a little longer than expected. Which I wanted to pose the question, how long did it take you to fully get interested into watching anime? Was it instantly, or are you weird like me, only taking 20 years? Well, with all that said, let's start the review. Boop, boop, boop.
Let's take a quick peek at the box. No cardboard for this one, we're going all out plastic today. This figure is made by none other than the team over at Alter. Keeping up with the design theme from the show, we get some yellow stripes and shadows around the bottom with our headless friend's name in big bold letters. I do like the nighttime cityscape and moon in the background. Nice. The box is nice and all, but we got a figure to check out, so let's go over the details. There's our bashful little Dullahan, casually standing firm like she runs this shit, checking her PDA for her next transport job. What exactly is a PDA anyways? Okay, checking her PDA while nonchalantly resting a giant shadow scythe along the ground. Oh, this thing? She's looking mighty slick in her all-black leather jumpsuit and biker boots as she grips her phone and scythe with her black leather gloves as well. Her jumpsuit is partially unzipped, giving the vibe she's just finished a job and is heading home for the night. Her foot is relaxed and daintily lifted at the heel. Topping off her looks is of course that awesome cat-eared full-faced motorcycle helmet, now available in bright yellow and blue, with decals to match. Celty makes sure to keep her visor down, masking the mysterious fog that resonates from within. Oh right, that massive deadly weapon casually plopped down by her toes, which she nicely holds by her side with one finger hanging off ever so gently. Its long handle is crude in design with sharp bends near the end. The steel blade is imbued with a black foggy stain along the top. The edge of the blade is rugged and menacing as it wavily forms to a point. So what happens if her helmet accidentally gets knocked off? Well, she gets pissed and a black shadowy smoke emerges from her neck. It tangles and billows behind her. The smoke is dark but has a faint translucent effect to it, just enough to catch the light. All her little accessories are a cinch to attach. The scythe slides, the foam pops, and the smoke slips. Lastly, let's scroll on down to her base. Still keeping faith to the anime, it yields a see-through dark yellow plate with the title wrapped in sharp black smoke. Now let's discuss what I like and dislike about this figure. Alright, let's go over what I like. First, since about 90% of her body is dressed in all black, how about that cool jumpsuit of hers? Looking like Johnny Cash up in here. I gotta say the color design team did a pretty solid job. It's fitted nice and snug, such as a leather suit should. It has a nice smooth shine to it, but what really tops it off is that they lightened up some of the areas where the leather would naturally stretch and thin out, kinda like when you stretch a piece of fabric and the color starts to fade. They also added some darker coloring where the leather bunches and folds, making it look like it's clothing she actually wore out and used. What little other statues of her exist, the ones I did find, the jumpsuits seemed a little too dominatrixy and very unnatural in contrast to this one. Next is her accessories. As easy as they were to pop in place, they actually stay in place when held. I've had other figures loosely hold on to stuff in their hands, then the slightest bump can knock it back out. But her PDA stays put. Side note, why didn't they just have it pre-attached? Her helmet and smoke stay snug, and her scythe stands its ground. And while we're on the topic of accessories, hey, the phone actually has a lit up screen. Looks like she's checking the time. Also, I like that her visor has a smoky tint to it, making it just barely see-through. I know most of the time a manufacturer would have just slapped a black decal over it and called it a day, but not Alter. And just for fun, you're free to mess around with the position she holds her scythe in. Woo! The last like is more personal, but I'm not big into the hyper-lewd or over-sexualized figures, so keeping the puppies in their cage gets a tasteful tip of the fedora from me. I do have one extra gripe for the helmet. I remember when first taking her out of the box and setting her up, I went to flip open the visor to see if I could, but nope. It was tightly sealed. I think it would have been cool to be able to pop open the hood and see the smoke looming from inside, kind of like her Nendroid. Well, now on to the dislikes. The black smoke accessory. While her character is generally kind-hearted, when she has to get mean, she has no problem doing so, and when it's time to fight, out comes the spooky black smoke, then you know it's on. So I kinda expected the smoke piece to be a little more sharp or menacing. With her just casually standing there looking at her phone, the smoke seems rather useless and doesn't paint much of a picture for me. It seems like they needed to add an extra little widget, so they last minute threw in some smoke. It would have made more sense to maybe change the position of her arms or the way she holds her scythe to get the point across. At least get rid of the phone. How's she supposed to go into monster mode while texting her boo? Checking my notes. That's about it for the dislikes. It's a pretty simple figure. I can't really knock points off for that. While her pose isn't very lavish, it's good for what it is. So with that out the way, it's rating time. It's time to put this motorcycle cop-hating mama through my trio of ratings trial system. The first rating is photographability. While I haven't really taken her out yet, I'd love to bring her into the city at night and put her behind some cool neon lights. Of course, I live pretty far away from East Ikebukuro, so I'll have to find the closest thing. The way her leather is formed, it gives off a nice natural reflection in the dark. While her pose is straightforward, I still think you can put her in some nice city situations or even some spooky ones. She is a monster after all. I can't totally rag on the black smoke though. It would be funny to make some panels of her head getting bonked off and the smoke coming out in frustration. Next category is quality. While she fits on the 1/8 scale, she's a tad size down from a 1/7, but she still stands tall. Her construction is very sturdy and solid, her arms are stiff and securely in place, and even her scythe feels reliably strong. While there isn't much paint detail on this one, you don't gotta worry. Her helmet makes the grade. Her skin is a deathly pale white, and like I mentioned before, the leather looks genuine. Down to the teeth on her zipper, even the blade on her Reaper Creeper's looking fresh. Last category is emotions. I wonder what she's thinking in there. How can a headless character convey so much emotion? Anyways, I'm giving Celty Sturluson a solid 4 little green men out of 5. Well, here's my final thoughts. I'm happy to say that I'm the proud owner of this figure here. Surprisingly, with how much I love this anime, I can't believe I waited this long to get my girl Celty here. I do wish she came with some sort of other accessory. I think she earned it. Would it be asking too much to get a pajama version of her, complete with slippers and a bug full of cocoa? I am on the lookout for a motorcycle to use as her trusty steed shooter, which I actually found a nice one right here, and I might as well get the figure that it's supposed to be used with right now while I'm at it. I'm a little sad and surprised that there really isn't much going on for Durarara figures, especially in how many characters are packed into the show. With really only the 3 Alter and Figma ones, plus Isaiah's special color one, none of them really have an exciting standout presence that makes me want to go out and buy one right away. But nonetheless, I will absolutely be on the lookout for the other Alter boys. Shizuo and Isaiah, especially Isaiah because he's definitely my all-time favorite character, just like an anime period. Well, that wraps up the review. I'm interested to know though, how long did it take you to fully gravitate towards anime and realize that I need this in my life? Hopefully not as long as me though. Okay, much love everyone, you all are the best. You know where to find me, if you need me, links are always below. I'll see you next time.